Illustrator and click on the create new button here, and that brings up the new document window. I'm just going to leave it at 1000 by 700 points. It's not too important right now what size that this actually is, because we're going to be taking the characters that we create and we're going to be importing them into a different document, which is a template from Fontself itself. All right, so so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use the rounded rectangle tool. I have an idea of the type of characters that I want to design in terms of the aesthetics, and they're going to be rounded on most of the edges, so the corners. So what we'll do is just drag this out randomly and drag those corners all the way inside so we have a pill shape. And I'm just going to do the example of just 3 different characters. They're pretty similar, just so that this doesn't take too long. And that's going to be U, I, N, and O. All right, so they're all real similar in shape. In fact, the U will be able to flip around and then afterwards make minor adjustments to it. And then the O is just obviously going to be very similar as well. So with this, we're going to go ahead and take the stroke width and really increase it. Somewhere, maybe if we're dealing with a height like right here, right around here is good, which would be, for me, is 54 points. So looking at this will be the serve as the basis of our U. So obviously the smaller we make this, the less condensed it would be. So we can make it taller. And I kind of do want it to be more of a condensed type of character here. So what I'll do now is I will right click or left click and drag holding Alt, and that creates a duplicate automatically. All right, and so I'm just going to position this over here. I'm going to take both of them, and then we're going to go to Object, Path, and Outline. All right, now when we do that, you'll see there's a path in the center that we simply just don't need. So go to Window, Layers to get that out, this panel right here. And you can see it has them both a part of groups. We can just delete that center area right there. So now it's just a solid path on each one of them. All right, so we have to ask ourselves, is there any certain type of aesthetic that we want to apply to this? Obviously, in this case, it's going to be U, not this O, as well as an N. So I have to ask myself if we want to, maybe do something really unique to us. And I did have an idea that I could do, and that is involving taking the pen tool and probably right where it just starts to go straight, like right around there. And if you want, you could do a 45-degree angle. And in this case, what I'm going to do, I want to take both of these with the direct selection tool right here. I'm going to make them a little bit taller. And there's a reason for this, and that's because when I take this the pen tool and I hold Shift, I kind of want it to be so that they're both on the straight areas, not the part where it's starting to curve up here. What we're going to do is cut it in half and then offset them, as we saw before. So then I'll just come around the top like that, and I'll come down just a little bit right around there. There we go. All right. And by the way, these are both exactly the same at this point. What I'll do instead is just take both of these, Alt, drag over. There we go. And then what we can do, I'll go ahead and take both of those. So hold Shift, select both of them, and then go to Window, Pathfinder to get this panel out. And then we'll just choose the Divide option, take the direct selection tool, and delete everything from there. So now we have 2 separate shapes like that. All right, now next we also need to adjust this. So we're taking the direct selection tool, hitting delete. All right. And we can see it's a little bit off here, and that's okay. We'll be able to fix that later. This is coming up like that. It shouldn't look like that, but we'll fix that in a little bit. So what we're going to do now at this point is we'll go ahead and let's think. Where do I want to do? Yeah, we'll fix this now, in fact. Let's see here. So what I'll do is bring this up, just this corner here. All right, and then we want to make sure these are both even. And in fact, I can go a little bit taller like this. I think an easier way of dealing with this would be to position that up. And then what I'll do is take my add anchor point tool, add an anchor point there. There we go. And then to make sure that this is completely flat on top, we'll take the rectangle tool, just like that. And I'm going to ungroup those. And I created a duplicate copy of this top one. And then I'm going to do minus front. Take this one and minus front as well. All right, so now we have it situated a little bit better. Sorry if that was a little bit confusing there. So before we offset this, I want to continue on though by working on this one over here. All right, so we'll take this, both of those. We'll do the same thing. So we divide it and then use the direct selection tool to split them up as needed. Now this is the O. There's pretty much not much else we need to do to it. We need to make sure though that these letters are aligning with each other correctly. So like the same height in a sense. So if I move this over, they are both on the same horizontal, the baseline down here, but this needs to be drug up taller so that they're more consistent with the height. Okay, so now what I'll do is I'm going to take both this side. Here, first I'm going to move them over for a second. I'll take both this side and this side, which, by the way, is not, it's part of a group, so right-click, ungroup it. So we'll take this, there we go, those three. And we're just going to offset these with our keyboard. So if I nudge it over with my left arrow key, I'm going to do it a certain amount of times. I'm going to count just to make sure that I have these even. So you'll see what I mean in a second. So if you go back, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Our 17 looks pretty good. And then we'll put it down 17 as well. And just for good measure, I'm going to go down 18, one more, just to make sure they do overlap. So I actually kind of like that, the way this looks. So now what I can do to make the N, it's very simple. First, before we do that, I'm just going to take this and we're going to merge them. Oh no. So sometimes that can happen, which can be a little bit frustrating. And that may happen if there is a section that perhaps is maybe not closed. Make sure there's no groups here that are unnecessary. I'll just take these two here and unite them, and then unite these two right here. There we go. Sometimes you have to do it that way. Okay, so now with that one done, oh, and there's also a line in the middle. So if I just take this, hit delete twice, we'll get rid of that. There we go. All right, so Control C, Control F will duplicate. We can right click, transform, reflect, and we'll do it horizontal. But we also want to do it the other way. Right click, transform, reflect, and we'll go vertical. There we go, and now we have our N. And then finally, you have to make sure that this is all good to go with Unite. All right, so now we should just have three shapes. So if we go back to Windows and Layers, here we go. There's a random path down there we can delete. And this is just our three characters that we're going to use for the basis of this tutorial here. And they look pretty good. So what we'll do now, first I'm going to